Thank you everyone for joining us today. Today's session is the third in a four-part series where we are exploring the various concepts to help you learn and implement a successful security architecture in your organization. In today's session, we will be talking about safeguarding the organizations against malicious threats posted by email messages, links, URLs, and collaboration tools. My name is Hesham. I'm the program manager for Microsoft Reactor based in Abu Dhabi. Microsoft Reactors are hubs for founders and developers to meet, learn, and connect to local peers, as well as industry-leading ideas and technology from Microsoft partners and the open source community. It's also the home to the Microsoft for Startups program, with a diverse mix of hands-on workshops, expert panels, and community events. There's something for everyone. Check out our calendar of events on meetup.com to join all our upcoming sessions. Continue this journey in the security series with our speaker, Hesham Saad. Hesham is a senior regional cybersecurity technical specialist at Microsoft, focusing on security, threat management, advanced analytics, and he's having more than 13 years of IT and cybersecurity experiences. Keep the questions coming during the session. We allocated more time for you to share your questions and keep this environment friendly and inclusive for all, since we have people from different backgrounds joining our sessions. So we're all here coming to learn. And again, we are having this session recorded, so if you miss any part and you want to review it later on, we'll have it ready on our YouTube channel, on the Reactor YouTube. So make sure you are subscribed to that. And we will be having, again, a more chance for you today, and this is why we're doing it over a Teams meeting, to discuss and ask questions. We allocated around like 15 minutes, maybe towards the end, where we can maybe unmute and ask these questions and utilize the different engagement features that we can have here. So yeah, while we have you all here with us, I think we can start. Hesham, off to you. Thank you for joining us today.
Thanks, Hesham. Let me share my screen here. And please confirm, Hesham, if you are able to see it, please.
Yeah, all good. Perfect.
Thank you again. So good afternoon. Thanks for joining our security series for April 2021. This is Hesham Saad. I'm a cybersecurity technical specialist in Microsoft covering Europe and Middle East and Africa. So today we're going to deep dive into how to safeguard your Office 365 organization. And specifically how we'll be able to protect, detect, and respond against sophisticated email threats and attacks, like phishing, 0 days, impersonations covering brand impersonation or even specific users or mailboxes, malwares, bad links, bad attachments, etc. So gonna deep dive today and showing to you a live demo and sessions about how Microsoft Defender for Office 365 as a solution from Microsoft will help you to safeguard your Office 365 organization, in addition to responding to malicious threats and attacks coming via an email, which is one of the most common attack vectors that we all know. But before going to details and deep dive, because I'm going to show you the entire features, functionalities, and whole module and ecosystem stack of Defender for Office 365 as a solution, and then I'm going to break down one by one and show it to you live how the solution it works in real life scenario. It's really important to highlight what are the main challenges. And pretty much these are the main common challenges that we're hearing from SOC across multiple enterprise organizations and partners. So number one is about the landscape. It's being evolved. So a lot of sophisticated attacks, there is no one line of defense or even an attack. There are different options that we described and elaborated more in the previous sessions with the Microsoft XDR and extended detection and response. And another one of the key challenges is you might be receiving a lot of encounters or even signals or telemetry. So you might need for a solution that will do a correlation across the signals. And this correlation across the signals it might end up by generating a high fidelity incident. And hence, we might look for a solution that's mainly backed by a set of machine learning models and AI capability that having an automated set of a playbooks or runbooks that can help you to virtually do the analysis, automatic investigation, correlation, as well as respond action from an IR activity. But if you're starting to look at one of the recent surveys that has been conducted, it's showing that 91% of malicious cyber attacks and breaches is starting by an email. So email, it's one of the main highly target attack vectors. And 280 days, these are the average due in terms of a time that how to identify there is a breach and incident that's happening in a specific organization or tenant. So imagine most of the recent cases that's happening that someone receiving a kind of an email and this email managed to bypass a current email security gateway layer for a specific organization and starting to live in the inbox. They might do other kind of an activities, exfiltration for some services, starting to put force to multiple mailboxes and identities in order to get a target one. So the average time that an organization can identify there is a specific breach is about like 280 days, imagine. And in terms of impact and business impact, $26 billion is the average loss, which is mainly attributed to a business email that's been compromised since 2016 up to late 2020. And 20% of most of the phishing emails, it's primarily because of a user who just click on a link within an average of 5 minutes once being received. So we sought to share with you the latest surveys that has been conducting from a different vendor, from Microsoft, different sources, showing you that protecting emails against sophisticated attacks, 0 days, phishings, impersonations, branding, etc. is really critical. And I'm going to show you in the coming slides and showing to you live how Microsoft Defender for Office 365 can help you to protect against such kind of threats. And most importantly, what is the minimum baseline and security baseline that Microsoft do recommend organization to follow, and how the full options that you can customize such kind of a baseline settings from a threat, from a manageability policies, in order to make sure that you have at least an ultimate and fine-tune your settings and configurations in your organization. So the question is, what is actually the main components of Microsoft Defender for Office 365? MDO, or Defender for Office 365, it provides multiple layers, from a prevention protect, from a detection, from an even a post-breach investigation analysis for 0 days or unknown threats, from an investigation, from hunting environment to hunting, creating detection rules, from an automatic investigations using an automated set of a playbooks, in addition to provide a response and action capability, from an entire providing an awareness and training sessions and classes to your concerned boxes or profile or users, from having a providing a threat analytics and secure postures environment across the entire organization. So as you can see, these are the main key modules of Defender for Office 365. And I'm gonna take it one by one and show you the entire capabilities. And eventually I'm gonna show you a live demo, present all of these features. So if you can start it with a prevention. So recently, we published a detailed blog post showing you what are the entire multi-layered protection stack in Defender for Office 365. And as you can see here on the right side, there are different layers of edges, what we're calling the multi-layered filtering protection. There is the first layer we're calling the edge protection. There is another layer which is calling the sender intelligence, following by a CF content filtering and post-delivery. So pre-delivery, what will happen before receiving an email in your inbox? First, Defender for Endpoint on the back end is doing filtrations using the edge protection. What does it mean? It's checking about a specific set of an IP's repetition and throttling. Domain repetitions. Is that having a cycled directory in terms of the edge filtering in terms of the base. Backskirt detections, enhanced filtering in even on the on-premise routing. And it's really worth to mention that Microsoft Defender for Office 365, as a solution, it do support on-premise email server gateway, in addition to for sure to the cloud of Office 365. So it does not matter if you're still having a mailbox still your on-prem Exchange server. Microsoft Defender for Office 365 supports such kind of integrations and protection. And for sure, covering the Office 365 and Exchange Online layer. And then we're starting to do the protection, which is the edge layer. It's going to the intelligence stack. It means a specific layer in terms of checking if this is an inbound email, an incoming, or an outgoing and outbound an email, or even a protection layer, what we're calling the internal org. So email sending inside the same organization from one colleague to another colleague, from a user to user within the same domain or a trusted subdomains. It's actually have the full set and capabilities to define a protection rules and prevention rules as well. So Defender for Office 365, it do cover the entire different aspects and scenarios, from an inbound to an outbound to even an internal org stack. Covering different set of domains, supporting DMARC, SPF, ARC, and DKIM. Account compromise detection using a set of an automated playbooks. Bulk filtration, cross-domain spoofing, covering intelligence and impersonations across brands, across users. Mailbox intelligence, which is creating a set of a connected graph in the back end of your service of your solution in order to understand the behavior and the entire flow coming across specific mailboxes for your domains or users. Impersonation, either on the domain level, on the user level, or even on the mailbox intelligence level as well by creating such kind of graph, connected graph. And then another layer of filtration on the content layer itself, which is pretty much running a set of an engines. There is a signature antivirus engines. There is an ML and AI capability models that's being running to do training, classifications, learning the behaviors, and indicating of attacks, and doing a detonation and sandboxing capability against bad links, against attachments, against URLs, against even linked content in terms of detonation, URL repetition check and blocking, heuristic scanning for content and clustering, attachment repetition block, extensions files and formats, as well as on the transport rule level on the ETR, the Exchange transport rule layers. But what will happen if the email, suspicious email or specific email, manage to bypass all of these pre-delivery protections and scanning and filtration and scanning layer? Because no one is 100% secure, right? It might end up that someone managed to bypass of your detection and protection stack, and the email is got delivered and received as a recipient layer. Microsoft Defender for Office 365 do have what we're calling the post-delivery protection layer. That imagines that you will be able to do detonate and doing an auto 0-hour auto purge by pulling a specific an email, by changing a vertical, by dropping a payload, a 0-day on the host or the machines, by starting to doing set of an exfiltrations activities, starting to do like a forward or brute force to other kind of a mailboxes. So there are a set of a built-in playbooks, an automated set of playbooks that will trigger automatically without the need to do any action manually in order to do automatic investigations as well as taking an action and remediate. In terms of campaigns, about a global campaigns and a local campaigns across happening your organization. Safe links, URL, detonations, attachments, and even not only extending to your Exchange as a mailbox, it extends to the Office 365 suite. And that's why our main topic is not just how to protect data and respond against email sophisticated threats and attacks, but most importantly, What will happen if you are sharing a zero-day document or a suspicious link using Microsoft Teams or even stored in a SharePoint or OneDrive for business? Microsoft Defender for Office 365 extends such kind of protection and detonation capabilities to your Office 365 suite, and not only covering your mailboxes on Exchange, either Exchange Server or Exchange Online. So one of the main key provision I showed you here about the intelligence and connecting graph. That's provide a deep protection and prevention against credentials phishing, harvesting, PCT, PUC compromised email, and accounting harvesting and takeover. And remember the previous slide and showing you there are a couple of intelligence which is creating a graph, connecting graph. Understand the behavior, the flow, the scenarios in terms of the traffic that's coming as an inbound or internally or even an outbound from a specific mailbox or a profile that's being configured to be secured by Defender for Office 365. But what's happening here and showing you scenarios that even an inbound email coming from outside or internal or even coming from external to inside using an inbound and outbound and internal org. So Defender for Office 365 provide you the capabilities in order to protect it. And here is a screen about a kind of an attachment. Someone sending you like a document that have an attachment. It doesn't matter which kind of format. You can have the full capabilities to build the rules or filtering and excluding which kind of extensions. But let's assume someone is sending you like a kind of a crafted document that have a macro, PDF, Word, etc. And you would like to see how Defender for Office 365 will help you to do detonation and sandboxing for such kind of an attachment that's being attached and closing to your email. And as you can see here is simple policy set that admin can do, not only to cover detonation and sandboxing for an attachments via an Exchange, but also to extend the protection against your SharePoint, OneDrive, and Microsoft Teams. And not only safeguarding your Office 365, we extend the capabilities as well for using Office 365 Pro Plus with integration with Defender for Endpoint, which is we presented and demonstrated last session in details. A feature we're calling Save Documents for Office clients. So imagine that opening a document in your host, any kind of a document will be open and as a Save Documents in an isolated kind of a frame. It doesn't matter what is exactly, if there is a malware, macro, scripts, embedded payload, or ransomware will be dropped from this document. It's self-contained inside this specific container or frame. And every single kind of a detections, alerts, or suspicious activity, rest assured that you will get alerts and more investigation logs and telemetry into your Defender console. So the protection here is not just focusing on the email, it's beyond the email and extend to the entire Office 365 suite, as well as extend to the host that's coming from the same documents. And as you can look here, how we're actually doing the detonations on the backends. Someone will send you an email that have a document and an attachment. This document is sent to the detonation chamber for sandboxing in your tenant. It's actually generating an observed behavior, understands the network traffic, generating the downloaded all of the files, and then starting to do the analysis and the observable links. Once it started to do sandboxing, it's come with the result that this document needs to be detonated, and based on the policy that's being assigned by the admin of the MDO portal, he will be able to take an action, either to send to quarantine or send to junk or actually route it to specific traffic or a specific mailbox flow. In addition to multiple options, you can set it into monitor modes, into blocking modes, into actually blocking specific sender to add it to blacklist next time when starting to send you, because I would like to blacklist this specific domain or a sender. But how about links? And links, it's a URL. It can be a specific URL or an embedded URL in a document, in an object, in a link, in a text, it doesn't matter. Or even a document that have an enclosed or embedded link or a hyperlink. So safe links feature in Defender for Office 365 is actually extends the coverage and protection across all of these scenarios. But it's not only just a kind of filtering. How about if someone sends you a link and this link is a malicious link, it managed to bypass all of the pre-delivery protection stack? It might happen, right? Even if a user, if he receives this specific email and clicked on the link, this link will be rewritten to redirect to a specific detonation server in your tenant. And then once you click on it, it will do the sandboxing detonation capability for the URL and executions. And if it's detected this is a malicious and bad link, you will be able, the user will see like in a screen showing him in a browser, this website has been classified as a malicious. And for sure, every single detection, actions, and logs is fully audited and logged in your Defender for Office 365 console. And then what will happen in terms of moving from preventions, protection to detect campaigns, which is one of the exciting built-in modules in Defender for Office 365. Imagine you have an entire flow analysis for inbound, outbound, or even internally across who are the main sender for IPs, who are the main sender domains. Show me what are the main verticals in terms of filtrations that has been taken. Is it phishing? Is it an action has been zero auto purge? Is the tenant is allowed some specific policies based on an ATR rule? Show me the dispositions in terms of the filtering. Is it being relied in the user inbox? It means it's got delivered, or it's actually being taking an action to being quarantined, sent to junk, etc. And the entire recipient actions that has been taken. And you can see, which is I'll show it you live shortly. Show me the recipient actions, the IPs, the domain, the payloads, and the entire actions that has been taken with the full details. You have the full option to explore the inbox messages that has been delivered, the entire campaign with the entire flow analysis into a single dashboard. So you can see it here, even if you're stuck to investigate, you'll be able to see the entire detailed alerts from a detection. I'm seeing the severity, what's the alert details, show me the status that has been done, it's still active or being closed. Is there a tagging items that has been assigned or attached to specific mailboxes or emails from a priority purposes, from a specific highlighting departments, groups, or OPs, and what is exactly the main categories that's been alerted on. And once you're starting to open one of the alerts, you're getting the full details information. You'll be able to take an action. You'll be able to see what exactly happening coming from this specific alert. And if you click investigate, you will go to the investigation graph to get further information about what exactly happening here. So I showed you a layer in terms of the preventions and protection and how detection views that's actually coming out of the box in the solution. But how about investigation and hunting activities? So you can see that here I do have a specific, I can prioritize using tags, any of the mailboxes. I can go to the Explorer, what we're calling the Threat Explorer dashboard in Defender for Office 365, and starting to see what's exactly happening. I would like to filter by tag, by specific emails, by even a specific kind of a categories or a threat management like phishing, malware, spam, etc. Or I have a different conditions and filters that can be added. And then when starting to look at the results, you will be able to see the entire flow. But one of the main key capabilities as well is that I need to allow my users in my organization to submit and report. Might be a phishing email that they received it and they required for investigation. And hence the Defender for Office 365 supports the user and the admin submission. So admin in the admin console, he can go to anything specific email, attachment, content, URLs, documents, or the entire email, and he submitted for deep investigation and analysis, which would be conducted by the Microsoft Threat Intelligence team. And he will receive an entire detailed report in the same console, submission console, about what is observed analysis, what's the detonation and sandboxing that's happening, which is I'll show you live shortly. And for sure, providing a feature to users to submit there is a phishing email has been got received using client, mobile, desktop, etc. And once they submit it, you don't need to go manually as an analyst to investigate all of the submissions that has been raised by your users. There is a built-in automated user submission playbook that will trigger automatically, do the automatic investigation, and even you can take an account of a response or an action in order to be taken here on this specific email. So you can save a lot of time if you allow such kind of features for users, imagine a large enterprise organizations that have hundreds of thousands of employees. And if a few of them or 1,000 of them started to submit phishing emails on a daily basis, how long from a time that analysts can stand and investigate all of these submissions and decide if it's a false positive or it's a false negative and action need to be taken there. Imagine having a virtual analyst embedded inside your Defender for Office 365 solution that will do the automated investigation as well as our remediation activities as well. So here is a user, he clicked on his desktop, he opened an email, he is highlighting this report message as a phishing. Once he reported, automatically an AIR automatic case will be created into the MDO console, and it will start to do the automatic investigation process and activities. And here is another layer showing you from the admin side. An analyst or admin, he's signed into the MDO console. He's going to submissions dashboard. He starts to click on new submissions. I would like to submit something to Microsoft intelligence team and R&D team detection in order to investigate and come back with a deep analysis and sandboxing. Whatever it's an email, URL attachment, or even using via format, it's a file or a network message ID. And once it even is being investigated, that it's highlighting the reason for submission, what is the main item categories, it's a phishing, spam, or a malware, and once being submitted, you will be able to see the entire investigation, the Explorer here in a one graph. And here is what we're calling the Hunting Explorer dashboard, that analysts and admin can log in and starting to do add the filters, creating a set of a predefined queries, what we're calling a kind of a threat tracking one, in order to be able to see what is the entire details investigations about what's happening in their organization. And then what's happening here? Defender for Office 365 provide what we're calling detailed entity analysis page. So you can see it here that even any kind of investigation or analysis or sandboxing, admins will be able to get the entire analysis details. So they can see that what has been done from a detonation, from a sandboxing perspective, if it's something related to an attachments, URLs, or a similar emails in the entire organizations or domains that's facing the same set of actions that has been taken or suspicious activity. So Defender for Office 365 provide a built-in deep analysis entity view for admins in order to investigate and get reality. And if we're starting to go to the next step, and showing more in terms of the response and remediation capability, I'd like to take an action on demand. I don't want to rely only on the automated automations, IIR capability that's done by the solution. Sometimes I wanted to take an action myself. At any specific email or a bulk emails, you can move to junk, delete items, soft or hard delete, or even you can trigger an investigation automatically or investigate specific sender, recipients, or add to remediation as a kind of a work item. So you have a detailed and entire actions, items, and response that admins they can be taken based on a permissions. And remember, there are an automated set of an RBAC and permission sets and administrative roles that can be assigned to who can do what in your console. And here is once you're starting to look at the built-in automated response playbooks, you are getting the status. What is the main detection source coming from Office 365? Show me the investigation and show me the entire related entities. Is it related to users because it's a mailbox? Show me more into the artifacts. Show me the logs and the entire evidence that has been captured. And once you started to click on one of the built-in automated playbooks for automatic investigation, you're going to see that you have a very nice interactive intuitive graph showing you the source, the investigation layers in terms of entities, the triggered alerts, if there is any related correlated host or a machine by integration with Microsoft Defender for endpoint. Show me the results in terms of finding of the threats and the actions that has been taken automatically in terms of remediation. Getting full details into the alerts, I'll show it you live. Emails, users, machines if integrating with Defender for endpoint. Entire entities that's being captured. The logs and the remediation actions that has been taken. And then when I started to go here, remember about the scenario showing you at the beginning about the post-delivery protections and features. So an email might be delivered at the recipient level. And once you're receiving a specific email, because there is no any suspicious activities or even vertical highlighted, this is a phishing email or a threat. But after a while, what's happening? This specific kind of an email which is got delivered to the user inbox, it started to trigger a kind of a script or having a payload automated to drop a backdoor. Changing the vertical here, Defender for Office 365 using the ZAP, the zero-hour auto-purge playbooks, will automatically trigger an automatic investigation without the need to do any action manually. Will trigger it, will do the investigation cycle, and once it's coming with a remediation, it will actually pull the specific email and send it to quarantine box. So imagine such kind of a pre and post breach protections and layers is embedded and built in with Defender for Office 365. But that's not enough, because one of the key main module, because that will be the always case, email is still one of the main top attack vector that we're facing from a cybersecurity across all of the organizations on a daily basis. But it's really important is to share awareness and provide insights and training to our users in our organization. Because for a reason, might be an email managed to bypass all of the protections, the pre and post page for any solution. And it might be in a human error and indications that need to be available and provided. And hence, Defender for Office 365 provide an built-in internal attack simulator module. That, as you can see, which is I'll show to you live, admins, they can create a custom payloads or use one of the built-in payloads templates, creating one of the simulations or use one of the built-in simulation there, trigger an automation, and assign an internal simulated and a payload one to specific users or a group of users in their organization. And even providing a set of built-in training classes, or even allow the user to select additional kind of a classes modules they need to cover. Hence, providing awareness and training is really critical to how to enhance the simulation management. And providing a dynamic end user training. So as you can see, here is a message that your users or actually end users are going to receive in terms of passing any of the phishings. And one of the most critical and practical scenarios that using the attack simulators in Defender for Office 365, you can share the spread and awareness with your users. And it's highly recommended to run such kind of an internal phishing campaigns by your SOC and security team in order to see that what exactly happening in our organization. How many users? Why is a specific finance or HR user starting to open this suspicious link or a document? And once you open it, it's really important to assign a set of training classes, which is embedded inside the same solution in order to share them more capabilities and information about how next time they will be able to understand and realize that this might be a malicious or suspicious email, it's a legit, or this is a genuine email that we can use and open it. And here is a detailed reporting and insights to admin. How many users, which kind of techniques and simulating campaigns that has been used? This one is social engineering and credential harvesting. How many users, apart from your campaign starting being compromised? How many payloads being using in your simulations? So you get a detailed reporting and insight analysis inside the same MDO solution. And then showing you native experience about user awareness. User received the link, click on this link, and then you will be able to go to the access to the entire training classes that's being assigned to them. And then what's happening? Here is the user, click on it, he's going to the portal and be able to get the entire assigned classes. But one of the key points, Defender for Office 365 solution is really easy to use because it's mainly designed in order to provide a proper configurations and easy configurations and setup in terms of policies. There is no need to set up any kind of gateways or an infrastructure unless you're doing a hybrid integration with the on-prem gateway. But what's really important here is how Defender for Office 365 provide what we're calling a configuration analyzer, which is pretty much providing a set of rules. We're calling the preset or a standard protection rules that having a set of standard baseline protections that Microsoft and we believe that any organization have to enable it at the first place. And for sure, admin, based on the permissions, they have the full right to customize which kind of a protection policies that need to be taken. So you can see, I can enable or restrict protection policy, whatever it's a preset, standards, or even a strict one, and assign it to specific users, mailboxes, or a specific domain or a subdomain in my organization. So you have a full granular control level to customize it and to edit it. Easy to simplify, easy to configure, easy to highlight what are the main response actions that will be taken across all of your policies that need to be done. So here is this related to inbound, outbound, and internal org. So what I shared with you so far is I'll show you the entire set of capabilities, from a prevention to detection to hunting to automatic investigation and remediation and response to analytics and doing more forensic investigation and deep analysis to internal training and awareness. And remember, the solutions mainly designed not only to cover your emails, but extended to the Office 365 for Microsoft Teams, for SharePoint and OneDrive. But now let's do the live demo and showing you how this solution it works. So number one, what I'm going to do is I'm assigning to my portal. And here is a new M365 Security Console, which is actually in GA, that's showing you that here is the endpoint and here is the email. So right now I'm focusing on the email and collaboration layer. What I'm going to do first is I'm going to policies and rules, and then I'm starting to configure a set of policies. What are the main policies that we need to assign? I need to assign a policy related to alerts. I need to define which kind of alerts I need to receive a notification or an email, activity alerts, or a threat policies. When I go to the threat policies, I will be able to see there are multiple modules. These are the policies that I need to configure against anti-phishing, anti-spam, malwares, links, and attachments. How about if I'd like to add a set of rules in order to allow appropriate specific hashes and indicators from a files, from a file certificates? How about integration with having a protection and authorization layer with SPF, DKIM, DMARC, integrations with an on-prem messaging servers? And then I will be able, how about reporting and messages from my users? When I go to users, it's just one click box that you will be able to allow this Outlook plugins that I showed you in my slide to allow your users to report there is a phishing message need to be investigated. And then when I go back to the threat policies, I'll show you here is what we're calling the security posture configuration analyzer. I can go to preset security policies and I want to just click on a one active rule that can be running on a standard protection, or even I would like to run a strict protection to provide high detections rate and increase the threshold of detections and sensitivity in my solution. When I click on the edit, you will be able to see every single protection policy from an exchange online protection prevention to the defender. You can assign which users, which groups, or which domains that need to be assigned from the protection EUP layer or even from the defender for Office 365 layer. And let's assume that I would like to configure a policies against bad links or bad attachments. So when I click on the safe links, I'll be able to create a policy. And remember, if you enable the strict or as a standard, this will be applied across the entire stack. Or you can even create a custom policy, which is I'll show you here. I have a policy, for example, when I click on the policy and click on the edit button, I'll be able to show you, do you want it to turn off this specific policy, increase the priority or decrease it, or even to delete it? And as you can see, if I click on edit this specific policy, what I'm going to see it here, I'm seeing that I will be able to assign this policy to enable the rewritten URL. So any kind of a link embedded in a document, in an attachment, or coming directly to the email, this link, when I click on it, it will be rewritten in order to go to the detonation chamber in order for being detonated and sandboxing. And then I'm applying a real-time URL scanning for any links that point even to file and define my own settings. The same that I'm going from a bad links or an attachments. Anyone sending like a 0-day or a documents, and I would like to see if this document during sandboxing is actually malicious, yes or no. And I can define which action if it's being triggered as a malicious. I need to quarantine, I need to take an action and send it to a specific user for further investigation, or even I can send to the junk. So at every single policy that you're defining, from phishing, impersonation, spam, malwares, links, and attachments, extended to not only for an email to even to Office 365 stack like Teams, SharePoint, and OneDrive, you'll be able to define the actions that would be taken. But what we're going to do is, let me shoot you a scenario. So what's happened is a user is sending a kind of an email. So here, I'm going to send a specific kind of a malicious email. So here is the email, and here is a subject, for example, as a kind of a reactor, MDO, safe links, or a test. And then I'm sending a message, hello user, please open this site and get the needed details and revert back. Then revert back. And then what I'm going to do with this site is I'm adding a malicious link as a hyperlink, is a plain link. So for example, I'm adding a link here, which is, I know this link is a malicious and will trigger a kind of sandboxing and rewritten. So when I click on add in this link and say here is here's sender. And when I start to send, I sent an email as an inbound email to a specific user in my organization who is actually protected by Defender for Office 365. But that's not enough. I'm going to send the same email here to the same user, but I'm sending an attachment to this user. So let's call here is a kind of a reactor, MDO, safe attachments. And you know what? Let me send a kind of a document, and this document we know it's a kind of a 0-day. So a bad guy, this bad guy, which is the admin, he started to send the document, hello, please update the attached survey document and send it back for revision. Or this sender. And then what's happening is the bad guy, he's actually doing a kind of, here you go. And then what's will happen, he's created a document which is called MDO survey.doc. And guess what? When I go to here and go to the same document, this specific document that has been created, which is the MDO survey, if I'm starting to even go to virus total, I'm starting to upload this specific document to see if there's any specific hash signatures that's being defined. So when I go to the file and I started to choose a file and go to the path for MDO survey here and starting to analyze and check this one is confirming the upload. And once being uploaded, that we're gonna validate if this specific kind of a document, which is a 0-day or an attachment that might be crafted or weaponized, is actually has been seen before, or it has not been detected by any kind of AV secured solution there. So as I can see, that everything is showing undetected, including even the Microsoft the robot AV. So we know that this one is a kind of a 0-day. So I would like to have a more sandboxing and detonation capability, which is built in as an MDO, because Defender for Office 365 is not only covering the signatures, the AV engine. If you remember the slides and showing the entire multi-layer protection stack, there is an AV engine as well as there is a sandboxing detonation. So here's what I'm going to do is I'm going to attach, I'm browsing this one for my device. Here is the MDO survey, attach a specific kind of a document and starting to send it to the user. What will happen in a few seconds when I switch back to my user screen? Here is the admin portal. What we're going to see. And I'm going to get in here and go into the mail. I'm going to my Outlook and I configure there is a kind of an alert notification. Oh, so it sounds that MDO started to kick in. In a few seconds, starting to analyze, investigate, and sandbox the specific emails that having a bad links, that having an attachment which is 0-day, and start to do the written sandboxing there and detect these are real malicious and has been sent to quarantine. But I would like to get more details for sure. So you can see there is a section that's called Explorer. And Explorer here is your main investigation dashboard. And here's what I'm going to see. I want to see everything in terms of file, or you know me, show me all of the emails that has been recipient in this specific kind of a user. So let me take the user here, copy, here is my recipient, or you can even filter it. You have multiple options to do it. So you can see that you can filter, run a query, select the view by all emails, mail, phishing campaigns, content, adding in multiple queries. You can add and or conditions by sender, recipient, object, malware, tags, etc. And phishing, you have multiple options. So what's exactly happening? Can you see this one? So remember the bad links, the phishing links that was sent by an email, we're calling safe links? In a few seconds, that Defender for Office 365 identify that this specific kind of an email have a malicious link. But I wanted to get more details and what is the actions that has been taken. When I click on it, I will be able to see exactly what's happening on this specific case. I'm getting what we're calling the summary view, and Defender for Office 365 provide what we're calling the email detailed entity analysis. Here is a summary telling me the sender, what's the details, it has been quarantined, there is a safe links that has been there, I can check the headers, I can check the body, I can check the emails that has been already quarantined in my quarantine box. Show me any kind of an attachment, there is no attachments. If you have Defender for Endpoint protecting, it's out of the box integrated with Defender for Office 365. Show me the entire timeline analysis and if any kind of similar emails received in my organization. But you know what? I want to click on this one, I will open it in a new tab so I can share it with you. So when I click on the new entity page, what will happen? Defender for Office 365 showing you the deep analysis and investigation and sandboxing that has been done across all of this email. So what you can see here on the right side, here is Reactor MDO safe links. This email has been quarantined, advanced filter has been taken, it's an inbound, not an outbound or an internal. Show me the recipient, the sender, the IR message from the cluster as well. Show me the entire guidelines and the entire analysis. The entire sandboxing detonations that has been done on the back end of your tenant and showing you more details about what's going on there. If you're going, you will be able to see even in details about any document or an attachment that's happening here. So you can investigate, you can take an action to any kind of an email seamlessly to send it to move to junk, investigate, hard, soft and hard delete, or even trigger an investigation or report it as a claim. And remember the automatic investigation that's happening in the system. So if I go back a little bit in terms of time to showing you an example in terms of the automatic investigation, just in case if there is any automatic incident that's kicked in. So when I go here and starting to click on apply, and you can see Defender for Office 365 come with the out of the box playbox for investigation, reported message, zap 0-hour auto purge for a file URL changing verticals, or even a playbook that having a potential compromised user or a mailbox that will be targeted automatically. And when I click on apply, you will see the AIR built-in engine inside Defender for Office 365. So here's an example about a case that specific emails that has been deleted or even compromised. So when you click on the remediation, you will go to the investigation graph that's showing you a deep investigation analysis across the entire entities. So when I click on investigations, I'm going to the investigation graph telling me, hey, there is an email, here is a cluster of entities, what is alerts, any entities, any evidence, show me the logs and show me the actions that has been taken or any pending action by my user. I can approve it, I can reject it in case if it's a false positive. Any actions will be taken. It's creating a kind of a listener or even updating the graph on the back end. So your solution having a set of machine learning that do understand the behavior and the actions and the loggings that has been done. So I investigated. I'd be able to check any kind of submissions, and the submissions adding submitted by the admin or submitted by one of our users. So when I go here, I'll be able to see, show me all of the submitted done by our admins or even by my user. I can go and check the review. Any kind of an emails that has been added to quarantine, show me the entire quarantine box. When I go here, I'm going to the quarantine review dashboard. It will list all of the quarantine emails and you can get more information about it. You can check the header, check the message, you can block the users, or you can even submit the message and release from this message from quarantine. And you can go the same exactly when you go to the review. You have an entire audit trail, what we're calling the action center. It built-in dashboards and reports for the solution coming out of the box. Entire campaigns analysis and view. Show me what's exactly happening across the entire flow, inbound, outbound, and even internal. Show me from where this campaign that has been originally came. And when I click on a specific kind of a campaign like this malware, I'm getting a full analysis and view. What is the entire flow, the sender IPs, how many users clicked, how many links has been clicked in my organization, attachments, URLs, etc. And then I will be able to go to the message trace, because sometimes you need to have a complete message tracing event, including attachments, URL, the main raw data of your emails. And last but not least, for having a training and awareness. So you can see that you can create a set of simulations, and it's easy to create like a kind of a phishing campaign inside your organization. You can launch a simulation, harvesting, malware, link, drive-by URL, or a custom one. And you can select a specific payload, or you can even have the full option to create a custom payload from your site. Assign it to user, assign it specific training and classes, and it will show you a seamless training experience that I showed you in the slides. So as you can see it here with the live demo, what has been done so far is Defender for Office 365 is actually provide you an end-to-end capabilities. And Defender for Office 365 is just the one layer for Office 365 and email protection, which is out of the box embedded under the Microsoft Defender, which is our XDR that we presented at the first session. That having a full integration, correlation, integration signals across endpoints, identities, cloud applications, and the user data and emails in your Office 365. And here is a view showing to you when I go to the one level up about the XDR console, I do have a full correlated across the endpoints and emails in one view, correlated incidents, and even going to the alerts. I will be able to see the detection source. And here is how Microsoft XDR will help you as well to save a time and improve your SOC and operationals in order to respond to a high fidelity incidents or suspicious activities that's coming in your organization. And with that, hopefully it was a kind of fruitful sessions, and we're showing you in details in a 1 hour how Defender for Office 365 can help you to safeguard your Office 365 organization and how to protect, detect, and secure against phishing, advanced threats coming from an emails as a one attack vector. With that, I'll leave the floor if there is any questions here, not only related to Defender for Office 365, but even related to the XDR or Defender for Endpoint, that based on the sessions that we covered.
Thank you, Hesham, for today's session. And as you highlighted, today's session, we have more chance. I'm hearing my echo, but we have more chance to take more questions related to today's content or to I also shared with you here in the chat. Go back to the YouTube channel and have a look at it again. So I received a couple of questions. Many questions from a couple of community members, and I was just checking. Maybe we can unmute. I will go first with Ankit. Ankit, you can unmute and feel free to ask your questions.
Hi, Hesham. Thanks for the session. It was very useful.
No problem, Ankit. Go ahead, please. I think you're posting questions related to the daily quarantine email notification, right? Based on score.
Yes, right. So like high confidence emails, they should not be included in the quarantine digest. But some emails with 365 Defender is not 100% sure if that is spam or phishing. The users can get a notification that these are the messages that have been quarantined, so that they can approach admins and admins can investigate. If they understand, they can release it.
Yes, this can be done. Ankit, thank you for the question. This can be done using the alert settings and policies that you can get daily. Whatever it's a kind of quarantine email notification based on a spam or phishing or even a malware, based on whatever any scores that you can define. So there is a custom settings that can be done in terms of the alert notification that you can define what we're calling the threat categories, management, and the filters as well. And I think you asked then, Kate, about another question. If I'm looking, you mentioned about does Microsoft Defender for Office 365 scan the link and attach PDF Word document? Answer is yes, and I show it to you live that I sent a document. It can be PDF or Word document that's weaponized that might have like a bad link or a malicious link. So any kind of links even embedded inside the document, this will be scanned and rewritten using the safe links. Hopefully it's clear and can show you.
Yeah, it's clear now. And will it be possible for me to assign like all the users? I'll assign the plan 1, MDO plan 1, and for the top management users, I can go ahead and assign plan 2 for them, just to have better security for those top management users.
Okay, so it's more into kind of a license. I'm not the license specialist, but thank you for the question. And please reach out offline so I can connect you with the specialist is about the plans, because there are different SKUs or different models related to Defender for Office 365. I'm just referring to what's mean by plan 1 and plan 2. And plan 1 have a set of features. Plan 2 is a full package, like the premium package. So let us connect you, please, with a specialist team who can share with you more details about is it possible from a licensing perspective or not.
Yeah, and the one last one from my side. So what happens sometimes is, say for example, with our current email security solution, what happens is whenever I say, for example, I mark a sender as a safe sender, so the SPF checks are not checked, even if, say for example, some attacker is trying to spoof that domain and then send some malicious links. Those links are coming through because the sender is added as a safe sender. So how does 365 for Defender, reacts when we mark a sender or a domain as a safe?
So there is a set of settings and configurations made on the TKM or SPF that need to be added on the ETR rules and settings. I can share with you like a detailed blog post that one of my teams that actually wrote that having these configurations and settings on the ETR in order to be tackle such kind of a whitelisting scenarios from being bypassed. It's an own one.
Okay, got it. That's it, Hesham, from my side. Thanks a lot. It was a wonderful session. Great.
No problem. Thank you, Arif. And I think that we might have, for any further question, please reach out to us. We're more than happy to clarify it. And hopefully it was a fruitful session to you and the team.
Yeah, sure, Hesham.
Thank you.
All right, we have questions coming from John as well. So John, you can go next.
Yeah, mine was a quick one regarding emails or attachments that are secured either by RMS or perhaps password protected. Does Microsoft 365 Defender, can it be able to scan such emails or attachments for threats?
Yes, answer is yes. But you're having what we're calling the plan 2 or the premium package.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you.
No problem at all. All right.
All right. I believe these are the questions. We can monitor the chat actually. If any more questions can come, please ping me. I just want to remind you that this session is recorded and it will be available on our YouTube channel. Allow me to share my screen just to highlight a few links and resources for you to continue the journey after this session as well. Okay. All right, so I posted earlier in the chat some links and resources for you to continue the journey. First, I would like you to spend a minute to take the Reactor survey, give us feedback about the topics that you would love to see at the Reactor. And you can use the session ID 12950 for this session in particular. You can also make sure that you are part of the Reactor meetups. Now that we're doing our sessions online, you can be part of multiple groups across the region and attend and benefit from all these learning opportunities. You can connect with us on Twitter and also subscribe to our Reactor YouTube channel. There's also a monthly curated newsletter, which we sent out to cover all the interesting series and events happening across the region. So you can also subscribe to that. I'm sharing these links with you. There are also resources for you to continue the journey on Learn, which Hesham recommended. So yeah. Don't miss the fourth part of this series happening next week. Details are posted on the meetup page, and you will be available to you'll be able to register for that. So yeah, thank you everyone for joining us today. I'm gonna post the recording now, and we'll drop all the links you need in the chat.